Welcome back aboard Blurred Force One with your boys Mo and Lottie, and this is the Supercast. The Supercast, where we talk about all things superhero and your pop culture media, and that's movies, TV shows, video games. We talk about the news, do some speculation, all that good and nerdy stuff. And this week is Creature Commandos week as we dive into the first project in the DC universe under the direction of James Gunn. Should be really interesting, and that starts on Thursday. But we also are starting off December full of gifts from the comic book medium because we got What If season 3, and we also have Craven the Hunter coming out. So plenty to talk about there. But before we do, I gotta say, of course, get down there, hit like on this video, on this podcast. Let us know how you're feeling about that. But my good friend Lottie is here. He's going to be talking with me about all this superhero stuff. So Lottie, my friend, what's going on, man?
Oh man, nothing much, man. Just trying not to freeze my tail off.
Yes, even though we're in Florida, we're having an uncharacteristic like cold snap going on. So we're bundling up as if we are in fact in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So people in Green Bay are looking at our temperatures and they're laughing. They're laughing in their little yurts, and I assume they are igloos or something like that, ice houses. I don't know. What do you? What I don't know what they do up there. So, man, what you been up to? That's nerdy though.
Oh, I'm trying to remember. Why is my brain farting? I mean, oh, I finally watched Transformers One.
Oh,
By far the
Oh my God,
greatest Transformers movie of
I
all
feel
time.
like I feel like a terrible nerd because I haven't watched that yet. I've been doing other stuff, but yeah,
Best Transformers movie of all time.
I've heard it was excellent, and I do intend to watch it. If I maybe over Christmas, like when I have some time off, when I can get caught up. But yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. Um, so you watch Transformers? Anything else?
Uh, I mean, besides playing some video games, I mean, uh, not much, I guess. I just enjoyed my break, my holiday break, my Thanksgiving break.
Yeah,
Didn't do much dirty during that time, I'll say.
yeah. Well, I've been feeling the pressure of working two jobs because the economy, Trump's economy, is really kicking my butt. So with that said, I did have a little bit of time finally to get caught up. I got caught up on Star Trek Lower Decks in its final season. Caught up to all the episodes, having a ton of fun with that. I also went and saw Gladiator 2, which was fine. It's a movie that's fine. It's got some questionable CG in certain parts, and if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But Denzel Washington is Denzeling it up, so I had a good time with that. But also, Lottie, this is not nerd related, but it's related to me being a movie nerd. Did you see? I can't believe it. I saw possibly one of the last showings at the Regal Theater here in town. It's it's crazy. Like I went Saturday night and they closed Sunday. I was out of
Wait,
nowhere.
Regal closed down?
Yeah, like real talk. Like, and
Wow.
I was a Regal Unlimited member, so I was like, like what the hell's going on? But yeah, they just closed shop. So I literally saw Gladiator 2, probably one of the last people to see it at the theater. So strange. Fortunately, we're not a little podunk town, and we do have two other theaters, so I'm good. I'm going back to AMC, or as I like to say, I'm moving on up to the east side, to the deluxe apartment, or in this case, the Dolby Theater in the sky. So, props to you if you understood that reference. Uh, that being said, we are gonna, this the supercast. We are gonna talk about superhero related stuff. It's kind of a short, or small news week this week. Not a ton to talk about, but we are gonna be nerds and really dig into all this stuff. Like, Fantastic Four is completed filming. How geeked up are we for this movie? Colman Domingo, he's going to be in an upcoming Marvel Studios project. but could there be more Marvel Studios work in his future? DC Studios launches an official podcast. What can we expect from this insider look at the new DC Studios? Then, speaking of DC Studios, Creature Commandos is dropping on December 5th. What is it? Not December 5th, on December 6th, on Friday. It's got some early reviews. Surprise, they're good. We're going to look at some of those reviews. And speaking of Creature Commandos, also Dean Lorey, who is one of the, I guess, writers, showrunners behind Creature Commandos, and also, you may not know, is also involved with the Harley Quinn series, talks about Creature Commandos, but also drops a kind of a little bomb that related to the Harleyverse. We're going to see what that's all about. And then finally, we are going to talk about something that we don't talk about that often, which is video games. In fact, superhero related video games, because Marvel Rivals drops on Thursday. If you have a PC, you can preload that. We're going to talk about what sort of game it is, the characters, and are we going to be playing? So we got a good amount of stuff to talk about. Lottie, my friend, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Well, let's jump into this. So, real quick, this is a real quick thing because this news is only in the sense that, hey, something got done in Hollywood, which, I mean, given the state of things and also Marvel Studios and all they're pulling back on content, it's good to hear that they got something past the finish line. In this case, it is Fantastic Four First Steps, which of course is the Fantastic Four's introduction into the MCU. They completed their filming, so we are a year away, essentially, a year away of hopefully just CG and not a ton of reshoots. Um, I want to ask you, Lottie, like, where's your level of excitement for this? And is this, well, actually, I guess I have to say, does this have to be a home run? Because you know how everyone's talking about the MCU falling off and all this other foolishness, and there's two films next year before it, Thunderbolts and Captain America: Brave New World. But does this have to be like a home run, slam dunk, whatever you want to call it, for people to have some confidence in the MCU as it's heading towards doomsday?
No, it doesn't need to be a home run. All it gotta be is a base hit. Just make it a base hit. That's it. Nice little, bunt. Well, I don't have to say it'll be a bunt. I mean, a nice, 500, $600 million movie, as long as the budget, I'm looking at you, Disney, as long as the budget isn't too high. If the budget's pretty moderate, like what I expect, what it should be, because isn't the thing suit actual practical, not CGI? So
Yeah.
if it should be about it should be about a $150 million movie. So
Oh, it's
it
not
doesn't
gonna
have
be
to be.
that. I can tell you it ain't gonna be that. It's gonna be at
Oh,
least 200. It's gonna be at least 200. I can put money on this because they have to bring Galactus into play, right? Definitely,
well, if it's
and
gonna be 200, then it's gonna have
it's
to
at
make
least 200. So they have to bring Galactus into
so it's
play
gonna have to
and
make
Silver
600
Surfer.
million.
Yeah,
So it's gonna have to make 600 million to turn a profit.
yeah.
Uh,
Which
So
I'd say I think it's going to definitely make. In fact, this is early days of speculation. I put it. It's probably going to make at least 850. I think that's a minimum. We don't know how good the story is, but like 850 sounds to me about right. And it depends really on Thunderbolts and on Captain America: Brave New World and how well they are able to gin up interest in the coming movies. But also, very much like the Infinity Saga, they have to make people feel like they got to see this movie to like get where everything's going. So
mhm.
introducing Doom in some way or another, or and in the previous movies, it's probably going to be a smart thing to do. And also, their marketing had better be on point. So people really do know the Silver Surfer, whether or not you want to, argue about that. People really do know the Silver Surfer. So, and they sort of know the Fantastic Four, especially they know the Thing. So if they can put these guys front and center, and or the Human Torch front and center, and really kind of like push the marketing, I think 850s. It's a. I think that's most likely. I don't know. You feel like I'm on base there?
I think so. I just hope that. Well, it's been a while since that movie came out, so I don't think it will affect it. It's been like what 10 years since that awful Fantastic Four movie came out.
Yeah.
It was yeah, that was like 10 years ago, wasn't it? Probably longer.
Yeah, and another fun thing though is people have recently seen Deadpool and Wolverine, and Johnny Storm, at least a version of him, was in it. So that was a kind of
Yeah,
jogging
that is
people's
true.
memory, or it's either making people who had never seen it before sort of be like, "Oh, what's this?" So I honestly think that this is poised to do great numbers. Is it not going to be? It's not going to be $1 billion movie, unless it is like excellent. This if it's excellent, yeah, it could be $1 billion movie, but I don't think it's going to be a $1 billion movie if it's just like a double or a triple in terms of baseball. Uh, so I'm interested. Obviously, we're both dialed into all of this stuff. I just wonder if other people are into it. And that is really going to be up to the marketing. They're going to really have to get people to know that this is happening. So I will see, but good on them. Can't wait to see some of the some maybe behind the scenes or any stuff like that coming in the future, and we're going to talk about it all then.
Hmm.
So continue on with Marvel Studios. Lottie, you know who Colman Domingo is, right? Please say yes. If not, I will hip
I
you to
know
the game.
I know his face, but I didn't know his name.
The thing I've seen him in most recently, and I talked about it on the podcast before. Remember we were talking about who could replace Jonathan Majors as Kang. He was one of the names on the list, and I said the reason why I think he'd be a good Kang replacement was I saw him in the color purple, and he was amazing. He's really great in color purple, but also he's been in other things. He was in Fear the Walking Dead for many seasons. He's done a lot of things. He can sing, he can dance. I mean, he's a bit of a fashionista, or whatever. Just the guy is super talented, and he's got a great look. So surprise, Lottie, he's also the voice of what I say, the voice of black hair Norman Osborn, which nobody's complaining about it. Has anybody complained about the race swap, Lottie, that
I
you've
mean,
seen?
I mean,
I,
animated Norman Osborn had waves, so I
I
mean,
mean, my
yeah, a
man
lot of
had
people
way.
thought he was. Everyone thought he was light skinned. So
Oh, I was surprised they didn't put the little do rag like crease on his forehead. The way them waves was breaking. But what's his name? Bodie Miller was trying to fucking surf on that shit. He thought it was the damn the Pacific Ocean up on that head. His
for
waves were
some
so
reason,
tight.
why is it? Why do this is legit a joke. Why do like animated shows back in the day, they made the villains almost look black. Like the number one corporate is Lex Luthor. You can't tell me Lex Luthor wasn't looking like a black man
Oh no, he
on
look
the show.
no back in the day on the Super Friends, he looked like a cue ball like a motherfucker. He looked
Yeah,
like
but I'm talking about the '90s Superman
oh,
show. That
oh,
man had the big
you know
lips with
why?
the through the tent.
You know why? Because we had a black man up there head writing that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Look like a black dude.
We had, yeah, Dwayne McDuffie was on the writing and on the creating of that show. That's why my dog said we gonna get some representation up in this bitch. He was not playing. But no, he's the voice of it. And by the way, he's got a great voice. Coleman Domingo's got a great voice. So cool. He's gonna be Norman Osborn in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, where, as you know, instead of being an antagonist, he's going to actually be a mentor, kind of like that Peter's Tony Stark, which I think is really cool and an interesting look at like how the eventual, Goblin Spider-Man rivalry is going to shape up. That said, he was being, interviewed talking about the show, and he also mentioned that hey, I have sat down and talked with Marvel Studios. They brought me in. They were like, "What do you want to do?" And he was like, I don't know, what do you all have for me? And so he's saying that there's ongoing talks going on, which to me, I think this is true about more than a few up and coming or currently hot talents in Hollywood, not just in front of the screen, but behind the screen. I think that Marvel Studios is constantly bringing people in for meetings and lunches and stuff like that because it's a machine. They need to feed talent into this machine if they're going to keep the MCU rolling. And Colman Domingo, it just makes sense. So with that being said, Lottie, who do you think Colman Domingo might play in the MCU? Now, and I'm going to also give you some background. He's in his 50s. Believe it or not, look at the man. He doesn't look it, but he is like, I think he's 55 or something. He and Mahershala Ali are about the same age. So he's in his 50s. So keeping that in mind, and also, I do also want to say, my man said when they said, "Who do you want to play?" and he's like, "Yeah, sure, I want to be in the MCU." But then they were like, "Who would you like to, what would you like to do?" And he didn't have an answer for that, which is telling to me, Lottie, what did that say to you that he didn't have an answer ready?
What I mean that he doesn't have an answer.
Yeah,
He's
when they
just
asked
open to
him,
play any. He's really just open to play anything at this point.
I was
He's just a.
thinking, well, I was thinking he doesn't know enough about Marvel to know who the fuck he could be. He hasn't been thinking about this. He's used to them being like, we have a character we think you should play, right? And that would be that. So he doesn't. And look, that's fine. We ain't all comic book nerds, like for real. I don't expect every actor to roll up and be like, you know what? I would really love to play, Rocket Racer. I would. That's the character that really speaks to my soul is Rocket Racer, which no, most y'all don't know who the hell that is. Or I would really, I think I can make a really great villain turn as the Shocker. You know, no one, not everybody gonna be like that. Some people literally only know the Marvel from the movies, right? So it is entirely possible he doesn't know, and he's like, man, just give me something. What give me a character that's cool, and let's go. Um, but so let's get Lottie. Let's give him a character that's cool. Um, and let's also keep in mind he don't just have to play whatever black characters that are available. He could be other characters. So like I saw in this article that the linked article that I put on the notes, they're like he should play Professor X.
No,
I mean, he
no.
could. If Denzel could play him, he could play him.
Nah, I want my dad. I want my Professor X to be old as hell. No,
Hmm.
I want mine to be old as hell. Um,
They well, they said also he could be the MCU's Norman Osborn, which we haven't seen yet. Doesn't exist yet, right? We're expecting him to show up in the future, Spider-Man trilogy. So he could just take his character from Friendly Neighborhood, which of course we know was supposed to be a prequel of sorts to the Spider-Man trilogy in the MCU, but they changed it away from that. So he take that character and there's just whoop, dang, he's you know Black Norman Osborn. And I'm sure no nerds anywhere will have a problem with Colman Domingo being Norman Osborn, right, Lottie?
come on, man.
How dare they? What's the term I keep here? I keep, see them trying to make happen. They're trying to make they're calling it blackwashing, and I'm like, that's just calling making shit better. What are you talking about? Like
I love
whenever
historically
we take
accurate.
a whenever we take historically accurate, that's great too. But whenever we take a hold of something, what do we just fucking make it cool? So I mean, Norman Osborn, like think about it this way. Do you remember in Vision, not WandaVision? Remember,
Hmm.
the coolest version of Vision in that show is Viz Sean. The meme
Yeah.
where they that's the coolest version of Vision is Viz Sean to the point where people actually cosplayed as him and walked up to Paul Bettany, and Paul Bettany knew what they were talking about. He'd seen the memes and everything. He thought it was great. That's what we do. So honestly, we just gonna glow up Norman Osborn. Colman Domingo gonna make Norman Osborn the coolest motherfucker in town. I'm just saying. I mean, I love Willem Dafoe, but Colman Domingo, remember it's like on Men in Black. Remember when Jay put on the suit and what did
Yeah.
he say? What did he say to W? He said, "Difference between me and you is I make this shit look good." And I was like, "That's real. That is real. I will."
Yeah.
So yeah, I would. That would be cool. And then the other thing they mentioned was Mephisto, and I was like, okay. I mean, I thought Sacha Baron Cohen was going to be Mephisto, but hey, that's okay. I mean, he could be Blade, but like then we'll never see him. So he could be Bishop, which would be dope. Actually, Bishop would be great. He'd be a good Bishop. Let me think. I mean, there's like a million. I mean, he could be if he was going to be a villain. It would be dope if he were Apocalypse. Actually, I think that would be cool. So I'm just saying, the sky's the limit here. We could literally just run through the roster of of characters that can be played by from the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
I think it just really depends on what they're planning to do in the future. So either way, we're gonna keep an eye on this. I hope in the next year or so we see some kind of announcement to get this great actor into the MCU, because like all he's going to do is make whatever it is better, as far as I'm concerned. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll let you guys know all about it then. So moving on to DC Studios, which by the way, they are gearing up. Like next year is going to be huge for them, but this year we're getting a preview of sorts, of what DC Studios is going to be about. And to kind of go along with that, or I guess to help keep us up to date and everything. Because James Gunn is busy. He can't just be on Threads and Twitter all the damn time answering all of our damn questions. Like, it's good on him that he does that. That's cool. But I'm just like, James, will you go work? Go do some work. Go look at some scripts. Get that Supergirl script on point. Find put your foot in the butt of some of these people. I want to see Brave and the Bold, man. I want you to greenlight that shit. I need all of it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, get off Threads, man. We appreciate you, but please. So, to that effect, they are launching an official DC Universe podcast, DC Studios podcast, which is interesting because earlier in the summer, Marvel launched the official Marvel podcast. And I listen to it every week, and that it's like 30 minutes. They talk about whatever is like news things that, like when Wanda, not WandaVision, when Agatha All Along was going, they were covering, like, every week as it was out, they were covering something else that was a different actor or a different aspect. But also they're talking about the comics and all this. It's a lot of like kind of interesting stuff if you like that. So DC is launching that, and they are also now I don't know the two people who are hosting, but one of they're kind of like the comics guy on the podcast is a guy I do follow and have followed for years now. Back when he was with Collider, named Coy Jandro, and the dude is great. He is a huge evangelist of comic books. Um, he watches all the MCU and DC stuff and everything like that, and reviews it, and other films and stuff like that too. But he's huge on comic books. He'll tell you like what you should read to get into like different characters, or so you can understand the backstory and things like that. He's got a lot of knowledge about comic books. So I have a feeling, and he's doing this official. This is an official podcast that it's going to be similar to the Marvel one, but we're going to get like more background stuff. So Lottie, anyway, I don't know how much of a podcast listener you are, but like, does this sound like something that you want to check out? Like, I know
I've already
we're
heard some stuff from it.
yeah. How do you feel about it?
Oh, it's pretty nice. I actually heard like when James Gunn was talking about the why movie quality has. I heard him like a segment where he was talking about movie quality going down, and he says, yeah, nowadays it just feels like movies are just getting greenlit just because just the idea sounds good. No one's seen the script. No one watch early screenings of it, and he's like saying that no movies getting no movies getting greenlit until I he was say I can't remember the other guys' names, but he was like uh the other guy that's like working with him, and then he said the other, and he was like one more person. We all like pretty much agree that yeah, this is going to be a good movie. He said he's like he was saying, TV shows are doing so well because the scrutiny under TV shows are a lot more than movies nowadays. And I'm like, yeah, he's
Hmm.
right. There's a lot of bad movies out there right now, man.
Oh,
A lot of bad. It
yeah.
is ridiculous. It's ridiculous that you literally can get you literally can be more entertained just sitting at home watching TV than going to the movie theater, and that's ridiculous. Like honestly, it's something needs to something got to stop. Like
Hmm.
I was talking about it with my friend that what happened to the movies that were just entertaining? I'm not even asking you to give me I'm not asking for great movies. Just at least if I go to the movie theater and I watch a movie, I'm entertained. They're not even doing that anymore. It just is crazy nowadays.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, I mean, sort of as a tangent to sort of answer that is, it's hard to know if a 2 hour movie is going to land properly. Like, I think James Gunn, we can pretty much count on him, but he's proven that he can, you know, deliver basically. But it's not always, even Marvel Studios thinks that they have something and then they don't, or they have something but it's not as good as they've done before. And so that it's entirely possible to be wrong, just be wrong about what you have. And you get one shot at it. The thing about TV shows is you can iterate basically, episode to episode because you got, every episode that comes out, you can sort of iterate. It's not necessarily true about like the shorter season things, but you get a chance to like when you come into the second season to figure out where you fucked up and then improve and then where you did well and keep doing that. You know what I'm saying? So a
Hmm.
movie you get one shot and you got to know what the fuck you're doing straight up from the beginning. And that's what and to that end, he's right about not wanting to greenlight things before the screenplay hits in his mind and he gathers people around him whose writing sensibilities he trusts, whose storytelling and understanding of storytelling, who their opinion he trusts. That's why he's got at DC Studios right now, he has a writing team that consists of half of them are comic book writers and a couple of them write for theater, right? So these are people
Hmm.
who understand about, how to tell a compelling story, how to format it into and put into package it in a way that's understandable and interesting for people. And so if they don't think it's a good script, they aren't going to do it. That is it. It's just not. I don't mind that. Like, when I'm at work, I tell people, I'm like, I'd rather you be slow and right than fast and wrong, right? So you get what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather you take your time and be right than to speed up and then fuck it up, you know?
Hmm.
So if that's the way it's going to go, I am prepared to just be like, I'll wait. As much as I want Brave and the Bold as soon as possible, because who doesn't want to see more Batman and the Bat family? If the script ain't ready yet, don't tell me you about to start cooking the meal. You ain't got the ingredients. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, I'm looking forward to this podcast. Excuse me, because first of all, I love podcasts. It's a good way. when I'm at work to just kind of like feed my mind while I'm just doing mindless shit. The other thing is, this is going to be a great source of information, so we could talk about it here on the Supercast. The Marvel one's good for that. This one's good for that. So I'm looking forward to it. Definitely putting on my Spotify, and I can't wait for the first episode. So we're gonna check that out, and whatever tidbits come out of that, of course, we are going to talk about it here. So continuing with DC, Lottie,
Mm.
we are talking about Creature Commandos this week. It's coming out on Friday, and so the first reviews have started to come out from people who have gotten to see. I think maybe the whole season they got to see it earlier, and everything, and so they've been putting out their reviews, and they are out on Rotten Tomatoes right now. And there's just an article where they talk about the Rotten Tomatoes, or they're talking about the show and what the reviewers are saying. Um, and I think it's certified fresh right now, just based on like the small number of reviews. I think there's only one down, like one bad negative or rating for it. Everything else is all positive. So, Lottie, I thought we would get ourselves properly excited for this show, or more so than we already are, by looking at some of these blurbs talking about the show, and we'll see how this makes us feel. Are we more or less inclined for the show? So, uh, the first part they say is this a must see superhero show? Uh, so from Cassandra Feltis from Black Girl Nerds, which shout out to Black Girl Nerds, right? By the way, I follow them on Threads. They're really cool. She's really cool and does a lot of cool stuff, reporting on movies and everything like that. But she says Creature Commandos is a riotous good time. 7 episode series is truly a blast to watch and rewatch. So next one, Lauren Milici of Total Film. One of the most fun experiences I've ever had watching a superhero anything. Julian Lytle of Riotous says Creature Commandos is an exciting, fun, heartfelt, hilarious animated series and a wonderful start to a new DC. Um, Charlie Ridgely of comicbook.com says it's exactly what you need to launch a massive franchise like the DCU. And Jared Jones of AV Club, it says Creature Commandos isn't exactly fresh, but at least it's fun. Um, Ernesto Valenzuela of Discussing Film says Creature Commandos does enough to warrant right to warrant a viewing, especially for fans of the lesser known DC characters who now get a chance to shine. Lottie, sounds like everybody likes it, at least so far. And it goes on. Like they asked, does it have James Gunn fingerprints all over it? Mostly people are saying, yeah, you could tell this is a James Gunn thing. You know, uh, you know, they're saying, let's say Jared Jones, who said that earlier, said it's no mistaking it for anything but a byproduct of Gunn's horror slash junk slash sleaze addled mind. Even when he's running in circles, the guy still knows how to deliver cheap thrills. Seems like a backhanded compliment of sorts. Um,
Yeah.
but they tend to say yes, it's clearly a James Gunn thing. Which, Lottie, that does kind of feel like we're gonna get some the Suicide Squad vibes. Am I wrong about that?
Oh no. And I already knew the animation was gonna be good because you gotta think who one thing that uh Amazon, Netflix, and all these people have nowhere near is when it comes to same thing even with like Disney when it comes to some of their animated stuff that they have nowhere near is on the 2D animation is what HBO has. HBO has Cartoon Network and Adult Swim.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them people are not really doing anything right now because of unfortunately what HBO has just fucking done to Cartoon Network rip, by the way. So I already knew. I was like, oh, this show, like I already saw it. I was like, oh, this got that Boondocks type, Boondocks Black Dynamite animated style. I was like, this is gonna look like a 10 out of 10, animation wise and art style wise, because of just the talent that is underneath the HBO umbrella. That's just really not even really doing anything.
Right.
So I knew that was gonna be good. Plus, add in James Gunn, who just for some reason just knows how to make uh, a good ragtag group story. I mean, all of his ragtag group stuff has just been fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know, Guardians of the Galaxy, um, what's it called? Suicide Squad, Peacemaker. Like,
Hmm.
come on, man. He had three home runs. You didn't think he was
Yeah.
not gonna he was not gonna finish off the grand slam?
And it's funny. He's so good at it that other people have been trying to replicate his formula and fail. Like the most recent try and fail, of course, was Borderlands. Well, you could tell like they were trying so hard to be James Gunn. It was they may as
Yeah.
well have just brought him in, like literally just bring the guy in. And yeah, it does seem like another question I asked is, will it remind us of anything else? And Cassandra of Black Girl Nurse says, similar to Harley Quinn or Kite-Man, hell yeah, Creature Commandos has a darkly comedic tone, with plenty of exploding body parts, creative kills, hilarious jokes, and touching moments. So, in other words, a James Gunn joint. I mean, you explained basically his DC output so far, right?
Mhm.
So they're saying the action is really good, well paced. They're comparing it to Invincible's action, the violence and gore and whatever. Um, it's they're being compared to what's right now is a lot of people's introduction to superheroes going bad. You know, so it sounds interesting. It does seem like the writing is on point too. Uh, Nate Richard of Collider said it shouldn't be too surprising that Creature Commandos placed all of Grunt's greatest strengths as a storyteller. Um, he says, but Gunn dives so deep into the personal lives and insecurities of the titular team that it sometimes comes at the cost of the series story. Very super. It's super Gun. So it says, will we care about the characters? And most people agree, yes, we are going to care about the characters. Animation's on point. Does it have a signature James Gunn soundtrack? And yes, apparently it does. Um, so yeah, it's look, it's certified fresh right now with a small number of you know reviews. A lot of these little blurbs seem very interesting to me. As far as like, it sounds to me like this is the show for me. Lottie, am I wrong? Do you feel is this basically saying this show is for you?
As it, oh yeah. I mean, listen, I don't need any of these people to tell me what I want. Shit, I already was. Man, these reviews mean they could say the the show sucks. I don't care. James Gunn has gained my loyalty. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, this is kind of boring." I don't give a damn what you say.
I'll care, but careful there, Lottie. If you keep talking like that, people are gonna say you're a gun glazer. Though you don't want to be a
Well, they can say
glazer, do you?
they
Uh,
can say whatever they want to say. That man, every single time I've seen him make a movie with more than three main characters, has been. I mean, yeah, a movie with more than three main characters in it. I mean, a movie or a TV show has been great. So yeah, y'all can
yeah,
shut up.
yeah. We'll glaze away because James Gunn has my full faith and confidence. I am really excited for this. This is dropping on Friday. I'm definitely gonna check out the episodes. Then, if not Friday, on Saturday when I get off of work. So, gonna check that out. Which, of course, means we're going to talk about it on the next podcast. So, you guys come back for that. So, speaking of Creature Commandos, I did mention up top that we were going to talk about what the showrunner of it has to say. But really, great. He's saying, yeah, Creature Commandos is cool and James Gunn and all that stuff. He's pushing it. Cool, cool, cool. Let's get to the part that actually we give a shit about because we're going to watch Creature Commandos. No, he says that they're working on another Harleyverse. He's still in the Harleyverse, which of course we know the new season is coming up. But there's another Harley Quinn spinoff. Lottie, feel like I need to put the meme with Michael Scott saying, "Everybody calm down, it's happening." Right? Just right?
Mm,
I feel like I need
yes.
to, because if this look, there's a lot of people that this could spin off. I mean, they could do a Legion of Doom spin off, I suppose, as The Office. That would be fun. Like, cool. I like the Legion of Doom and Harley Quinn. Yeah, they could do something where we see Clayface and his rise to fame as a great thespian, right? Could see that. That would be cool, right? We could even see Dr. Psycho being a manosphere, you know, Joe Rogan-esque podcaster, right? That, I mean, sure, shit on them. Why not? Well, we know, Lottie, what the fuck this had better be. Lottie, what should this spinoff? They don't fucking play with me, y'all. DC, don't play with me. Y'all, it's better be this. Lottie, what had this better be?
Burn.
Uh, I think it cut you out, so I'll say it for you. It better be Bane! Curse you, pasta maker! What? No, for real though.
It
For
has to be
real. It
burn.
had better be Bane. Cause god damn it, he carried Kite Man, hell yeah. He
Yes.
what's that old meme you used to say to me? What did he have to do? He had to put the whole team on
Had
his
to put the
back.
team on his
Team
back. I
on
had
his
to put
back.
the team on my back. So
That's what I'm saying. Like literally, the best things about Kite Man, hell yeah, were Bane. Every
yeah.
time Bane did anything in that damn show, it was great. And he was from season 1 of Harley Quinn. Absolutely amazing. Like hilarious. Like he had a cool little like character arc through it. Every time he showed up, I loved it. So I'm Lottie, I keep talking. They better stop playing with us. This better be Bane. I'm like, am I right though? Like, come on.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. It needs to be Bane. Bane is the best thing in that like you just said, he was the best thing in that entire Kite Man, hell yeah. Like let's just it's like you know how they say quit playing with me? You know how black women say quit playing with me? Yeah,
Yeah,
like
pretty
don't you
much.
play like with come on now. If you're going to do another spinoff, it better be Bane. I now if it's some other character, I'm gonna just be like, you guys are just dropping the ball. You just don't like money, I guess.
It's just crazy. Like I'm still thrown by the fact that they did a whole Kite Man spinoff, which I love Kite Man. I really did. But if they had said, Mo, we got 5 characters off of here. This, Harley Quinn is very popular. We're gonna spin off a show. And before they finish saying which character, I'm like Bane. Out of it, I'm like, I don't even know why we having this conversation. And they were like, but what about Kite Man? What about him? What if is he the funniest thing that came out of Harley Quinn? Fuck no. Like it's honestly it's between Bane and Clayface, and Bane still wins over Clayface. So
Yeah,
I don't understand how Kite Man got his shit.
I
Like, man,
completely agree.
that like that mediocre dude failing up somehow. But the actually cool Bane, I mean, come on. Clayface, whatever. Shit, I better be Bane. Dean Lorey, don't play with us. We are not in the mood for it because y'all delivered that Kite Man, hell yeah, and it was mid as fuck. So I need an actually on point spinoff. Thank you, please. I don't know why I got so worked up about about that. I think it's because I
I mean,
said Bane so loudly at the beginning.
listen, you're not wrong. Hey, what you're saying is not wrong. Cause Kite Man, hell yeah, I had some, I was kind of excited for her, and I was just like, kind of mid. Like
I,
you said,
I,
this is
I,
kind of
I, I felt like when you buy a game and you be like, "What? I need to return this. Maybe GameStop will give me most of my money back for it. That's how I felt about Kite Man. I mean, I was like, all right, I'm gonna get through it. But yeah, but Bane was in it, so I mean, anyway, it better be Bane. That's all I'm saying. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. Hopefully, in the next few months, we'll find out and we'll let you guys know all about it. So, finally, we're gonna wrap up all of our news talking about the brand new video game that's coming out, and it's free to play. So, like, don't even be talking about I ain't got no money for this, right? If you got, I don't know if it's on PlayStation 4. I'm not sure if that's true, but it's definitely gonna be on PS5 and Xbox Series X or whatever. But also on PC. So if you have a PC capable of playing decent games, you can go preload this right now. It's coming out on Thursday, and it is called Marvel Rivals. So all of you comic book heads out there, if you play video games, this is the game for you. Um, it is, to my understanding, it's a 6v6 shooter, something like Overwatch, which I've never played. Um, and I'm just like, why is Spider-Man shooting anything? He's got spider power. He should be punching shit. Whatever. The point is that this thing exists, and it's gonna launch with 33 characters, and not just like, oh, Iron Man, Spider-Man, whatever, Wolverine, Hulk. It's launching with some like deep cut characters. Like the character I'm gonna be playing day one, I'm letting y'all know, is gonna be Squirrel Girl because I love Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl is one of my favorite characters in Marvel Comics, period. And she's gonna be in it. Also, Miles Morales is apparently gonna be in it. And that's 33 characters at launch. So, like, this could be big. It's free to play, like I said. I guess they're counting on microtransactions or something. I don't know how they're gonna pay for this. They're just doing it. But it looks cool, looks interesting, and they're incorporating powers and all that stuff into it. Um, Lottie, you are the video game guy on this show. You know, you are the video game guru. Um, what can you tell me about this? How have you been feeling about the footage and the information you've been seeing about it? Should everyone be looking forward to play this?
Oh, I honestly, the game looks good, and I'm just gonna tell you straight up, you don't have to like convince people to play this game. From what it sounds like, this game is going to be the legit Overwatch killer. Um, Overwatch has just not done anything to keep their fan base happy. There just hasn't been any game to come against it, and this looks like this is going to be the actual Overwatch killer. I mean, what is the one thing that Overwatch always had? It's a hero shooter. Well, guess what? What are Marvel characters?
Literal
Legit
heroes.
heroes. So
Literal heroes.
you know what I mean? It's there's a lot of momentum in this game that, like I said, you don't have to ask. Like people like the gaming communities are literally like pushing for this game to do well.
Hmm.
So like I feel like it's going to this game's going to do extremely well. Like I feel like it is.
I just hope it's well balanced. It's one of my main. It's got such a huge roster. Now I play fighting games or at least dabble in them. So balancing is a huge part of of the game, just to make sure that some characters, moves aren't so hard to get around that everyone plays one particular character. So I want to see balance in this, but also bring some uniqueness to each of the characters. Like I said, it's launching with 33, and they're going to put more characters in as they move forward. I mean, I'm looking at the roster right now. I don't even want to name them all because it's 33 people. And there's somebody here I don't even know, like Luna Snow. Who the fuck is that? Jeff the Land Shark. Who the hell is that? Don't know who that is. But, Adam Warlock, Black Panther, Black Widow. They got Cloak and Dagger, which I don't know how. Are you guess you play both of them? I don't understand that. Iron Fist. That like some of the people, like they have Penny Parker. You remember from Across the Spider Verse? So they have
Yeah.
her. You can play Rocket. They got Winter Soldier, Storm. Uh, who's somebody that's out of the way? Moon Knight's gonna be in this. Um, Punisher, that makes sense. So I mean, they're kind of running the gamut of this. Hella, that's another good one. And they haven't even introduced really the bad guys yet. So as that's a lot of work to balance all of these people out to make sure that, like I said, everyone's pretty much on the even playing field. Um, that's that's cool. Like I think as a fan of these characters, it will be cool to get in there and kind of control them and see what's up. I am only going to ask though, is the community going to be sensible enough that I don't feel like bothering with these people? That's another question I have. I don't like online gaming because people suck. And they have and I maybe I was soured on this 20 odd years ago trying to play online shooters and just people are terrible. Lottie, I mean, has it gotten better? Is this something where I can jump in and I'm not just going to be like, man, fuck these people. I don't want to play this.
No,
Just straight up said it.
if you're play, just gonna let you know, man. If you're playing any shooting game that is PvP, you just it's going to be toxic. You know what I
Mm,
mean? They're literally rating games. They're literally like gamers are literally uh review bombing games that are trying to be less toxic. Like, come on, man. It's gonna be toxic. I just if you want to play a shooting game that is not toxic, play Helldivers or Space Marine 2, because those are PvE games where you play cooperative against the world. I mean, some people might try to be toxic in the game and shoot you, but there are legitimate like bad things that can happen to you in Helldivers too if you're toxic to
right.
different players. But like Marvel Rivals, you might come across some good people to play with to have fun with, but Maurice, if you don't want to grind this game and make this your game where you play multiple sessions a day and you're willing to do all that, don't even waste your time. Just
I
watch people play.
I was gonna say I'll be lucky if I get a session a week
Exactly. That's
at
why I
this
said
rate.
just don't waste your time, man. Just watch people play it. You can like just find somebody that you like watching on YouTube or Twitch and watch them play it.
Do
Like,
you
don't
do
even
you
waste
think
your time.
they might though because of in an attempt to sort of broaden the player base and to not scare away noobs like me, um, they might take some steps to like maybe the matchmaking is a little better so that I know there are some games where even in shooters they match you up with people of your approximate skill level so you don't feel like you're just getting destroyed by experts. Is that something that maybe they will incorporate?
Well, matchmaking is kind of like a taboo because it because for example, let's say like matchmaking is one of those things that is like it sounds nice, but in practice it's awful because let's say you you play in a matchmaking thing and you do well, right? You win. Then all of a sudden they're going to put you with the veterans. You know what I mean? So you don't want skill-based match.
That's interesting. Like in Street Fighter and Tekken, it's a points thing, right? You win, you win certain amount. Every time you win, you get a certain number of points. Every time you lose a certain number of points. And that pretty much shakes everyone out into how good they actually are, right? And
Yes.
I'm like, is that not something that happens in these games? Like I understand you can be a
It's easy. See, fighting games are easy to do because it's just one on one.
yeah.
You can. It's easy to do skill based matchmaking because it's one on one. In a shooting game where it's a lot of people on a map, you can just be having a bad game. And if they do skill based matchmaking, let's say you're a pro and you're just having a bad game, and then you play the worst and they take you down a skill level. Now you're a pro in like a moderate thing and you're just gonna wipe the server. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? that's the problem. Or in vice versa, you're just a noob or someone who's just all right at the game, and you just have a good day. They're gonna
Yeah.
put you with the pros, and then you're gonna get your fighting games is easy because fighting games is just a one-on-one thing. It's easy to know that this one player is just this much better than these players. But shooting games, it is almost impossible to do skill-based
Mm.
matchmaking because you can literally be a master of Call of Duty and just have three bad games because it just happens because there's so much shit happening on
Right.
the screen in Call of Duty, you know?
Right.
So it's like that's why I said if you do skill-based matchmaking, it can actually make the game a worse experience for people.
Now,
So it's just
this also makes me wonder, and I'm pretty sure this is what's going to happen because they were talking about like after the launch, after, a month after launch, they're gonna, which I'm gonna say is gonna be in January. They're gonna bring in some villains and everything. So I think PVE is coming. Like it sounds to me like more, and it seems like the smart thing to do for people like me. I'm just like I just don't feel like grinding against people who have all fucking day to play this game, and I have like an hour or two every other day, maybe. So it seems like PvE is coming. So would it still make sense to jump into this game now when you're probably going to go through the meat grinder?
unless you are like I said, unless you are willing, I wouldn't do it. If PvE is coming where they have PvE, because in my opinion, I think every single game, every single online shooting game from now on should have PvE modes where it's
Mm-hmm.
like because me personally, man, I'm kind of done playing online shooting games against people because I don't have time having a teenager try to teabag me and say that you suck, bro, and all that stuff. I I I don't have time for that, man. I'm kind of like that part of my life is over with, man. Like literally I refuse to buy Call of Duty because of that. Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like I'm done with the toxicity of online shooting games. I have friends that absolutely love it. Me, mm-mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I'm I'm gonna check this out. I if for no other reason to report back and tell y'all what's up. Like, is it worthwhile? Should you be playing it or anything? Do I have fun? Is it fun at all? You know, I'm gonna try to give some time to this this weekend and report back to you. But I if they do come out with PvE, I am definitely gonna jump into this. There's I mean, I'm not good at shooters, but like I love Marvel characters. Like I really for real do, and I'll be really interested to see. Like I just want to kind of play with each of them and see what's up. Like, what do you do with them? Uh, and, you know, I have a few, you know, four or five that are interesting to me straight up just because I like the characters. So I'm definitely gonna want to dive in and see what's up with this. Guys, I may even I'll try to get Lottie to play, but I don't think it's gonna work. So,
Nah,
but
I'm not.
we'll see though. But you know, we'll keep an eye on this. If more information comes out, more reviews, whatever. We'll talk about Marvel Rivals on the next podcast. So, with all that being said, that is all of our news for this week. But you know, maybe we missed something, or you know, you disagreed or agreed with what we had to say, or just wanted to say something nice. Whatever the case may be, you know what to do. Get down to the comment section. Let us know your thoughts. And of course, you can always hit us up supernotfunnyshow at gmail.com, blurred underscore force one on Instagram and threads, and it's super underscore not underscore funny show on TikTok. And while you are doing that and showing us some love, also show us some love on YouTube by getting down there, hitting like on this video, subscribing to the channel, hitting that notification bell, and of course, sharing this link out to everyone so that they can hear this podcast. And we really do appreciate that. And also checking out the Blurred Force One, you know, channel where we have no, not just the podcast, but we have reactions, reviews, all that good stuff. And of course, I can't do this by myself. The guy next to me is, you know, there with his video game and anime and comic book knowledge as always. So, Lottie, where can they reach you on social media?
Oh man, you can always find me on my Instagram and YouTube channel, which are both conveniently named Anu Kinihun. Again, it's Anu Kinihun, K-I-N-I-H-U-N. Again, it's Anukinihun.
Yep, you guys go and show Lottie some love as always, and get on and say what's up to him on Threads. Talk to him about nerdy stuff, and hopefully y'all don't argue, because Lottie will tell you about yourself if you saying silly stuff about video games. I see you out there, Lottie. I see you. um. So, you guys, thanks for joining us. It's episode 163 of the Supercast. And before we go, actually, I do want to shout out and point you guys to an upcoming and very interesting, not comic book thing, but it is superhero ish related. Lottie, I don't know if you saw this, but they posted the trailer for upcoming Cartoon Network show called Ianu. Did you see that? You
Mm-mm.
should see it. I don't know if you hadn't seen it. You should have seen it. Looks very interesting. People always be like, stop race swapping and write your own stories. Well, here you go. So a new own story written. Looks like it. If I want to say it was created by Nigerian. Am I wrong? I got Nigerian American or Nigerian uh creator or whatever, but it's a West African like supernatural superheroic looking thing. Looks a little anime inspired. Um, very cool. I'm looking forward to it. That is coming up very soon. So you guys go check out that trailer on YouTube and be prepared to see a different kind of superheroics that that is not. We've seen lots of Norse and all the other stuff like that, and whatever. It's time to. Well, Lottie, weren't you saying that like that's a part of fiction that or mythology that just hasn't been you know explored in our culture. We jumping everybody else. Why haven't we looked at West African mythology? Why haven't we looked at the continental of Africa? There's so many cultures with so many mythologies
Well,
that
the only
sound
mythology
awesome,
they want is the Egyptian. Only
which is crazy.
mythology is Egyptian, which is like everyone just says it's the Egyptian one, and I'm like, well, there are other mythologies. Like there's other history of Africa besides Egypt, guys. Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know West African. I mean, Nigeria, obviously, you're most familiar with. But like a lot of that area of the world has a lot of common mythology or some very common stories, some of which have made their way to America, in the form of, some Southern folk tales or whatever that are very much retellings of West Africans, myths and stories and oral tradition. So it's interesting that we don't have a ton that are looking into it, but they're starting to do it. We're starting to see it, and I like that. I like that. I find it interesting. So you guys, like I said, Ianu, look up for that trailer. Check it out. Show it some love. So all that being said, like I said, this one episode 163 of the Supercast. Thanks for joining us. We do appreciate it. We hope you got something good out of it, and we hope that whatever we said got you excited for some upcoming projects. Go watch some superhero TV. Go watch Creature Commandos. Get yourself ready for Craven the Hunter and for What If Season 3. So, with all that being said, I've been Mo, your comic extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Lottie. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.